Now, I'm not against that if you know you have the $400 or $500. But I'll tell you what is better. You're better off if your kid wore some overalls to school. And if you just get some cardboard and stick it inside those shoes like my mama used to do. Well, you say, my poor little boy. He wouldn't be like all the other kids. I know, but he wouldn't have a dad and a mom that's crooks. I'm saying it's dishonest for you to buy anything if you don't know how you can pay for it. And I mean go down and buy it and not even know you can. Not be able to sit down and say, I'll pay this much, I know I can, I will, this is what I'll do. If I starve, I'll do it. Listen, when you've got a television set in your living room, now listen to me, I'm trying to help you. You've got a television set in your living room or den, and you've got potato chips in your cabinet, and you've got eggs in your refrigerator, and bologna in your refrigerator, and you've got Cheez-Its in your cabinet, and you've got soup, canned soup, and you've got vegetables in your bin at home, and you've got carpet on your floor, or you've got furniture in your house, and you drive a nice car, and you take vacations, and you take days off, and you go to a ball game, or you go out to a picnic, or you pay any extra. If you do that, and you cannot know how you're going to pay your debts, then you're dishonest. I'm simply saying we need an old-fashioned revival nowadays of just plain old honesty and integrity and honor and doing justly. That's what God says is required of us. Well, you say, well, how? I just can't afford to make my payment. Sell your television set! I'll say, well, the house, I just can't afford to make my car payment. Sell it and get your bicycle! Now, I'm not preaching against television or owning cars. I'm preaching against this kind of wicked, irresponsible living that owes everybody in town and doesn't see exactly how those debts can be paid. And by the way, it's caused more heartache and more fussing and more complaining in homes across this nation than any other 10 things I know of. Some of you girls just got married. When your wife says, well, everybody else has a washer and dryer, why can't I have one? Buy her a rub board. Well, if you love me, you let me have one. Then don't love her. Boy, the next part in this sermon says love mercy. You better be praying for mercy tonight. I mean what I'm saying, and God means what He's saying. If you've got debt that you don't pay, and you've got debts that go unpaid, I mean as long as you're driving a car, as long as you have a television set in your house, as long as you have carpet on your floor, as long as you have furniture in your house, as long as you have clothes on your back, sell them and pay your debts. Do justly. What is required of thee? Do justly. That also means a day's work for a day's pay. That means if you get 8 hours pay, you work 8 hours. Somebody said, well, out the steel mills nowadays, the fellows just sit around, don't do much anymore. One fellow the other night said, the night shift where I work, nobody does anything much. All I have to do is study all night. Now, you listen to me, I hope you flunked. I don't care if nobody out the steel mill works. If you've got a job to do, and you're supposed to work 8 hours out there, you give 8 hours work, or you're dishonest. What is required of thee? Do justly. Do justly. That means make as good a grade as you can in school. It does not mean quit soul winning to do it. It means go soul winning and make the best grade you can in school. It means if God's given you a talent, you're supposed to do it. Do it. Use it. Did you know, choir members, when you don't show up for choir practice on Thursday nights, and this choir is the most important choir in America today, and Thursday night comes and a handful of people come here, and God's given you a talent to sing, you're not doing justly. You're not doing justly. You've got a talent, you're not using it. It's dishonest. I mean, whatever happened to the old idea that if I belong to it, I'll be there? Whatever happened to the old idea that said, if I'm my teacher, you can count on me. If I belong to it, I'll be present. I'll be honest. I'll keep my word. I'll be dependable. Nowadays, we just come and go flippantly. Come to choir practice if you feel like it. Don't come if you don't feel like it. And out here, preachers all over this country have come to this church all summer long to find out how First Baptist Church of Hammond does it. And time again, some part of a special number has not been rendered as beautifully as it could have been because of irresponsibility on the part of choir members. Some of you deacons, same thing with you deacons. You come to deacons' meeting and there's no football game on television. That's not just living. Amen. You've got responsibility. Somebody writes you a letter and asks you to, it's your time to patrol the halls and you don't show up. That's crooked. There ought to be a revival in this church, and I mean we ought to have an old-fashioned revival of if we say it, we'll do it. You Sunday school teachers, just don't show up. 3 superintendents came to me last week and said they had Sunday school teachers that didn't show up last Sunday morning and didn't even tell anybody about it, and I say you're crooked. Dishonest, the sacred trust God has given you, and you don't, your word, you promised you'd come when you took that class of department. Never visited an absentee. You're dishonest. You promised you would. Do justly. Do justly. Do justly. Now, God didn't say He required us to be certain, to look a certain way, or to have so much money, or to have so much talent. God simply said, do justly, and that means that we're supposed to give everyone what's His. There's a second thing we're supposed to do, and that's love mercy. Micah stood in this day of wickedness and perversion and sin and anarchy, and the people said, Micah, what does God require of us? He said, don't you worry about bringing all those rams if you don't have any. Don't you, 10,000 gallons of oil, barrels of oil won't help any. He said, God requires 3 things of you. Do justly. Number 2, love mercy. Now what does it mean to love mercy? It means sit in the other fellow's seat and then pity him and have compassion on him. It means when he wrongs you, figure out why he did and be understanding. If he mistreats you, you're not to be vindictive or retaliatory. You realize that you're not the issue at all. Christ is the issue. You're supposed to love mercy, exert mercy, give mercy, be forgiving, compassionate. It means if somebody hates me, I'm not to hate him back. Somebody criticizes me, I'm not to criticize back. Somebody slanders me, I'm not to slander back. Somebody fights me, I'm not to fight back. Somebody tries to ruin me, I'm not supposed to ruin him. It means I'm to love mercy. By the way, this is a requirement. The Lord doesn't say, I hope you can do this someday. It's required. What doth the Lord require of thee? Do justly. And then love mercy. There's a third thing. Walk humbly with thy God. I like the words thy God. That implies you're already saved. Nobody can walk humbly with God, with his God, unless he belongs to God. The liberals love to preach on this passage. They love to tear us fundamentalist up on this passage. They love to say, you don't have to get born again. What's that mean? The Bible says 3 things required. Do justly, love mercy, walk humbly with thy God. They're going to say, I haven't got enough sense to know you can't do justly and rob God of your own life and soul. But it says thy God. Thy God, not a God, thy God. Get born again, walk humbly with him. Notice it says walk. That means you're going somewhere. Humbly means lower than. It means we're supposed to walk lower than others. And God gets the glory. There are 3 things about this matter, just briefly, this matter of walking humbly, and that is we're to prefer others. We're to prefer others. That means we're to think of the comforts of others more than we think of the comforts of ourselves. Time and time again, I've been with Dr. John Rice in meetings across this country. Nobody's been with him like I've been with him. Time and time again. He's 78 years of age now, and I've seen this over and over again. Week before last, we were in Decatur, Illinois together. Everybody listen to me. All young folks listen to me. Girl back in the back row hasn't listened to a word I've said. You listen to me. The blonde next to the back row. Dr. Rice and I were together, and somebody said, we're going to give you a German Cadillac to drive in. You know what a German Cadillac is? It's a Volkswagen. And Bill Harvey drove it, and Dr. Rice happened to get there first. And 78 years old, he opened the one door and crawled over the seat and sat back in the back, about that much room for his knees. And I sat in the front. And what's he doing? He's preferring somebody else. You say, what'd you do the next time? I tried to be late again. It's crowded back in the back. The boy said, can I have your ice cream cone? I said, no, you can't have my ice cream cone. Well, he said, if I had an ice cream cone, I'd let you have it.